We're here in Berkeley, California with Shannon Williams to talk about sex crimes and the law. So, Shannon, could you tell us whether you've had any run-ins with the law?
Yes, I was arrested for prostitution once, about 8 years ago. Do you want me to tell you the whole story? So I was working in an apartment in Oakland that I shared with a friend of mine. And a neighbor called the police and said that we were running a prostitution ring and selling drugs out of our apartment. And so I got set up on a sting operation. You know, a vice cop called and made an appointment with me. And then a few minutes after he got there, there were 17 cops in my apartment. And so 16 men and one woman, because legally there had to be a woman there. And several of them pulled their guns on me, and they were screaming at me. I was standing there in lingerie, and they were screaming at me to put my hands on my head. And all I could think of was that I needed to get to my clothes. Mm-hmm. You know, it was really weird. It was very weird looking back on it. But I could see the pile of clothes in the bottom of my closet, and I just wanted to put them on so badly. So I kept walking kind of like in slow motion towards my clothes. And in the background, I could hear all these people screaming at me to put my hands on my head. And that some of them had guns out. And it finally hit me that this is how people get shot, you know, in these kind of scenarios. And so I said, okay, I need to just put my hands on my head. And I spent the entire time standing there half naked with all these men with guns
and
in my apartment.
And how could you
really
possibly
traumatic.
Have become the most dangerous thing happening in the Berkeley, Oakland
area?
I
know, Oakland. I mean, think about
16,
Oakland's reputation for violent
officers?
crime, and it doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
Wow. So 17 police officers while you're there in lingerie, and this became a huge media issue.
Right. Well, I was teaching at Berkeley High at the time, and the manager of my apartment building knew that because I used that as my work reference to get the apartment, and she told the police, oh, she works at Berkeley High. And so somehow, the beat journalist, whoever had the jailhouse beat for the Oakland Tribune got hold of the story. And so it became a big national story. It was in all the papers here for weeks and weeks and weeks. And Bill O'Reilly talked about me. Rush Limbaugh talked about me. It became a really big deal. And it was horrible for me at the time because my entire life blew up, Both of my careers were taken away from me. But the good thing was that all of the feedback that I got was totally positive. Like my principal, she said she got like 100 phone calls from other teachers and other people working in the district, parents of students, old students of mine, calling to make sure I was okay and to just acknowledge that I was a great teacher and that what I did in my private life didn't matter. So, in that way, it was really positive when I looked back on it, when I had a little bit of space from it. But at the time, it was really, really devastating to my life. I would go out in public, and again, it was positive, but people would walk up to me in stores and say, good luck with your case, or, whatever, which is nice. But I just felt very exposed and vulnerable, and it was a really hard time in my life.
Absolutely.
Luckily, I had always been out about doing sex work, so my family and friends all knew. So I didn't have that kind of double whammy of having to come out in my personal life because I was already out, so that made it a lot easier. But
I'm so sorry you went through all that.